Hello everybody, let's do some study about English writing. We will talk about communicative writing. Usually we do the communication by writing. Writing is one of the 4 abilities in English learning. Many students need to write their thesis and dissertations in English in order to achieve their academic degrees. English writing is in fact an access of international and intercultural communication with native speakers and non-native speakers. In academic fields, after reading abundant books, articles, theses, or papers in English, the writers can try to produce their own writings to prove their understanding, ask their question, and waiting for answers from readers. With writing, especially writing for publication, obtaining the feedback of a native speaker on what you have written is essential, or not only for producing text that will be understood and appreciated, but also for learning how better to organize, develop, and express your ideas in the foreign language. This is suggested by Lever in his book in 97 page about professional writing supported by peers. Writing in professional fields can be stronger supported by peers in the same professional fields because of the field works and contents can be more frequently and understandably discussed and guided by specialized knowledge. Some English theses or dissertations can be created in a more practical and specified ways. While anticipating graduation by an English writing, the students should keep good relationship with the classmates as well as the peers who take the same courses. They should from time to time meet a study seminar and discuss their progress of learning and writing theses or dissertations. They should not only focus on their teachers who guide their dissertations meetings or final defense preparation, but also they need to make friends who are in the same field in order to realize what they are doing is a right direction. Finding a co-author contributes to English writing for specific purposes, focusing on a narrow field. If you need to graduate from a master or PhD programs by a specific field thesis or a dissertation focusing on a very narrow field, a co-author in the same academic field should be invited to read and even edit yours if you are a beginner. Before doing this, the writer should discuss with the peers about knowledge and contents for further researching. The peers do not really have to be native speakers, since the knowledge in the precise field is the point. More details related to understandable context and specifically professional topics can be carried out by the peers, no matter they are native or non-native speakers. Peer introduction and peer instruction, especially at high levels where peers are in themselves quite competent, can be very helpful if you use the writing for narrow specific goals. Perhaps one of your peers understands a specific grammar feature, seemingly like a native speaker, but you do not. Peers can sometimes instruct you in these kinds of things better than a native speakers can. This is from a book of a Lever. an experience and expression by English language. In a book that Wells has written, Wells in his book mentions that language learners should have different feelings toward different languages. Hence, we have to pay sufficient attention that getting accustomed into a new format of communication. It takes some time to read a variety of writing styles with similar contents, especially English writing are different from writings in other language. The complexities should be more, so reading English writing also is a significant subject for deeper and sufficient understanding. The formats of English writing can be very various. It is efficient and effective for the speed of readers' understanding and writers' opinions when selecting for the specific format for different academic purposes. Different from other languages, the English types of writing have more choices for diverse purposes. There are chronological patterns, sequential patterns like step-by-step procedures, spatial patterns, compare and contrast patterns, advantage and disadvantage patterns, cause-effect patterns, problem-solution patterns, or topical patterns. Therefore, the emotion of English writing learners can feel fresh and new. When performing their newfangled learned patterns of English literature, getting accustomed into new patterns of English writing needs a lot of time. After the English styles being learned, writers also become effective readers. Beyond the diverse grammatical framing of emotion, discursive practice surrounding emotion differ in various speech communities. Language socialization routines are an important example. They reflect diverse ideologies and help form emerging subjectives such as children develop into social actors whose competence extend to realms of experience and expression. So in a community, the guild can form a style for communication which contribute to commonly neutral understanding in a specially professional fashion. For example, the organizations to different institutes of different procedures and different products or different occupations may speak in diverse patterns of speeches and writing. Significant the function of language. Let's talk about connection between feelings and languages. For expressing newly discovered things or personal emotions, writing is an access. It links human feelings and the language, displaying a person's thinking and perception by language writing. Wells believes language is a means we use to communicate our feelings. We also reflect emotionally on language we and others use. James M. Wells analyzes the signal of people used to express their emotion. Looking at the social, cultural, and political functions of emotional language around the world, the book demonstrates that speaking, feeling, reflecting, and identifying are interrelated processes and shows how desire or shame are attached to language. So, drawing on nearly 100 ethnographic case studies, it demonstrates the cultural diversity, historical emergencies, and the political significance of emotional language. Wells brings together insights from linguistics and anthropology to survey an extremely broad ranges of genres. cultural concept, and social functions of emotional expression. So reflecting on ourselves and eliciting readers' feedbacks are important. Writing is a method of reflection that reflects a person's self-image by words. Some people feel their own personality might not be very obvious and unique. Through writing, a person's unique characteristic and personality can be established and can be seen. By writing, the person's characteristic, knowledge, expertise, and the unique personalities can be exposed. Some feedback from readers can create an access to know the reader's me. What is me? They can see clearly about their own. So later in the developmental trajectory and I-self emergencies, according to Mead, MEAD, and author, the emerging adult quite normally experience psychodevelopmental crisis during which the resources of the internalized, socially conventional self are inadequate to overcome certain problems of existence and identification. In attempting to creatively resolve such personal crisis, the person, the I, emerges in fuller, more defined form on sort of reflexibility defines the me self, the experience of self as reflected by the other's responses, by the other's answers, like a mirror. So the I, by contrast, learns to reflect on their own behavior, and that sort of reflexibility enters the person's own range of competence. And the authentic writing by teachers, free topics, and teachers responding to students. About what to teach for writing. The teachers should be allowed to teach by their own methods without interruptions by anyone. This is the meaning of authentic writing and teaching. No one can teach a teacher how she or he should teach based on the authentic idea. The schoolmaster's prestige is based on knowledge that the others do not know at all. He is not just a proponent of common sense. One of the village partners and parents here, not even the person himself or herself, should venture to tell this teacher what to teach and how to teach, what to follow and how to teach. So this is not to say that teachers need to stun people into wonderment by words of learnness and battle them into reverence. There are some points that we can listen to. There should be no need for such ostentation, for the authority should surely be acknowledged without it. But if you do not have a specialist knowledge or expertise of what kind or some kind, you cannot claim the ability and authority. So responding to the students' base ways of writing is needed in English writing. Class. Become a writer, because some students believe their own abilities in thinking and even specifically various types of writing. Some English might not be bravely and smart enough to face their own ways of writing. In a traditional way, they did not listen to the updated emotion and the updated ways of writing, updated ways of method in English writing. If the English teacher's authentic attitude is too noticeable, however, the teachers of writing have their responsibilities to make their students find out their basic ways of writing and even biased ways of new English writing formats. By demonstrating a model writing or showing a really unique pattern in all students' writing, the diverse type of English writing should be displayed to the student more perceptibly. Then the goal of teaching and learning can be realized in an English writing class. Changing students' original concepts of writing in their own language might be a mission that needs lots of efforts by English writing teachers. The traditional assumption in language teaching or the teaching of anything else, if it comes to that, it is that learning is essentially a matter of conformity, which teachers directing affairs and the student deferring to their authority by their own. When the student shows signs of deviation, voluntarily or not, they were brought back to the line and made to see the errors of their ways. So this assumption has now, at least in many quarters, even rejected in favor of one diametrically opposed to it, namely that teaching should not proactively direct his learning process but should reactively respond to it, for sure. So writing as a way to exchange knowledge by the already known and unknown. Through writing, the teachers and the writers can exchange the knowledge that is already known and unknown. The writing is for reacting the status of the author's known. Moreover, the authors can ask questions to elicit the response for readers, honestly displaying his or her unknown part. That is to say, the further study. Recommendations can be also written to invite readers to respond, and further might cause a paradigm shift in a specific field. So this is about information that the target language supplied in this manner has several potential advantages from a psycholinguistic perspective over the same information in non-contingent utterance. For example, as positive evidence or models. React convey needed information about the target language in context. When interlocutors share a joint attentional focus, and when the learner already has prior comprehensions of at least part of message, thereby facilitating form-function mapping. Learners are best in the exchanges. It is their message that is at stake, and so will probably be motivated and attending. Conditions likely to facilitate noticing of any new linguistic information in the input, for raising the input, for turning into intake and output. The new linguistic information from the teacher has, as well as the learning resource of textbooks, and the teacher's words should be related to fact and some significant information related to students' need. For example, knowledge related to the subject they are learning, some important things and common realities or news that are significant for students' daily life. The practical information of the input content needs to be elevated in order to make students feel worthy and valuable when listening to the teachers. Hence, groundbreaking knowledge or reveal facts can be something that the readers would like the purpose and the writers enjoy to find. The news message should be precious and valuable for the specifically professional field. Usually, the updated information displayed on journal writing with high impact might be rewarded by some credits or prize to the scholars as well as the writers. So this is from the page 1 to page 4.